Hey, Mr. Stamper, Barry, Martin, Stuart. Sorry about that, Travis, but there's been plenty of time for you to catch up for that last stream. It's not my fault you're a little bit slow in catching up. Let's shoot the overhead. I'm sure you guys have seen enough of my mug. Right. Alright, this is the one we were working on in the previous stream, the keyboard replacement. I'm just putting it all back together now. It has charged. Got to 100% charge, no problem. Runs fine. So I can write the invoice out and swim around in a couple of hundred little dollar notes. Not that you can get dollar notes here in Australia. The smallest note denomination we now have is 5. We used to have a $1 note a long time ago. But instead now we have a $1 coin that's bigger than our $2 coin. Just to mess with everybody. Hey Pablo, Crazy J, Rustlin, welcome back. Steve, Ed, how's it going? And Alexi's here. Barry, Soda. Okay, this should be almost done. What have I got? We'll get this one out of the way and get on with the next one. I was supposed to get stuff done in the time between having a break before and getting some dinner, but instead I suffered to a human fault and fell asleep. Anyway, I'm awake now, had myself a cup of coffee, so I'm ready to go for another couple of hours. Well, Barry, this one's symptom is that everything is working just fine now. But the next one will be different. Martina, you have a small pile of £1 notes, £1 notes. Personally, I would prefer a large pile of $100 notes. That would be more to my personal taste. Oh, get in there. Oh, I hate it when sometimes that the threads just don't agree with each other. It's like a particular hole decides, no, I don't want that screw in me. It's like, alright, fine, I'll find you another one. If you don't like that, then you're just going to have to accept a little extra talking. Hey Keith. Please tell me I reattached that battery. I did. Whew. Thank goodness. Yep, that's all good. That can go into the out pile. Right, now look at the next in pile. What have I got? Water damage, corrosion, not starting, clicking sound. Holy dooly. Okay, kind of scary almost. And the cover of it is a little bit scary, so bear with me as I talk behind the scenes and remove this cover. Freaking clowns. Okay, clown cover removed. Also, I need to remove the bottom cover. It's one of these plastic covers that you almost never can get off without imparting some sort of crack damage. Except when I do it there. That was lucky. Fortunately, I've got stickers on both of those, so I know that they belong. Okay. Let's taint this one up. Sticker on the top. Sticker on the bottom. This one doesn't need that sticker anymore because it's done its job. I feel like I'm a sticker short here. And I've actually got the wrong stickers too. Dangerously wrong, in fact, because this job here, which I have actually already done, funnily enough, is the same type of computer. The serial numbers are different, but they're both 1502s. I think I know what happened there. Okay. And probably best I try to clean up all these rivets. Imagine if someone made those into shotgun shells, or put them in shotgun shells. A copper blast. It's kind of be like bird shot, I imagine. Might not kill you, but by golly, it would be unpleasant. Come on, come on. Don't want your little mongrels in here ruining my customer stuff. Has anyone been shot by birdshot? Can't imagine it's too pleasant. Hey Jacob, Max. Artin's here too. Hello Artin. Yes, and a 22. 22 is not going to be any fun. I'd take birdshot, one shot of birdshot over a 22. I suppose it depends on which 22 you got. You know, whether it was subsonic, hollow point, standard, Magnum 44, Magnum 22s. If it was just standard round point, subsonic, then I suppose that's tolerable, but the supersonic ones, that wouldn't be much fun. Alright, looks like Rick and Morty have taken over this one. I don't know, Rick. Yeah, can't do Morty's voice. Might have to stick to Rick. Can't do Rick's voice. Might have to stick to not doing any. Problem solved. Okay. You got a 22 air rifle. Okay, that's a fairly big air rifle pellet. Most of the air rifles that used to be around here were the, what is it, the 158 or something? Okay, what is the classic sort of round town air rifle pellet size? Air rifle pellet caliber. 177, that's it, yeah. I know you used to be able to get the Prometheus pellets for the 177. They were a bit mischievous. Especially when people would put them through the roof of your house or something. Through the tin metal. Because they would, they'd just go straight through the tin metal. And then it would leak. Okay, 11 milliamps. It does attempt to power up. Power is looking weak there. 1.2. We're powering up. What is this? Conspiracy? Water damage, corrosion, not starting, clicking sound. And everything is perfect here. Except for the fact that the screen looks like it's out of a horror movie. You guys probably can't see that, but it's got some qualities. Qualities that would, same sort of terms I would use for certain screwdriver brands. Alright, let's get this out. Open it up. Clearly there's something in here that's mischievous. It's probably just been broken free thanks to the shipping shake. Anyway, playing with firearms or compressed air arms is very much a non-existent pastime here in Australia now. As most of you would well know, we do have perhaps the most restrictive firearm licensing laws in the world. I used to have a license, but when I went over to South Africa, I didn't bother to renew it. We got missing screws here. And by the time I got back, it was all over in Australia, so I just said, whatever. Alright, trackpad's completely cactus. Oddly, that's been wiped. Someone's tried to clean that up. Yeah, you don't try to clean that up. That's terrifying. Funnily enough, I think the main board looks alright. We've got a 2015. We'll have to shuck the battery out if we want to get to that trackpad. So we'll take the main board out, we'll have a look. I think the main board's maybe been moved. That's some smeary damage. I see there's going to be wars here about what is and is not allowed to be used as a verbal description of just how bad that stuff was. Okay, battery is disconnected safely. We'll get this Samsung drive safed away with a sticker. More than anything else, if you're doing this, you really do need to, if nothing else, make sure the customer drives are identified. Losing a customer drive is not... It's not a fun experience, I don't recommend it. Okay, the trackpad's cactus as well, it's got all... What classically happens is grit and sand, things like that, gets in here. And there is enough of a gap between the underside of the panel and this cable. And what happens is the grit just sits there, works its way between the cable and the panel, and then when you put it down it starts crushing in and it eventually breaks the data lines on that. So replacing those is almost a standard process now. Ooh, look, a keyboard connector. I wonder if I remember to put this one back in. Hey Mohammed. The joys of watching moderators meta-moderate between each other. Alright. One of those kind of days, yeah, a little bit. I am sincerely, for some strange reason, I'm sincerely hoping that this does not have liquid damage on the main board. I mean, I know it would be like, yay, we get something to repair, but honestly, I've got more machines that have got to be repaired, so if this turns out to be a case of shuck the battery out and put a new trackpad in, then that's great for me. I don't think this main board's actually ever been removed. Everything's sticking down too well. Tell you what I haven't seen in a while is a 1398. Just realised most of my machines have been 1502s, 1466s, 1708s, most things except 1398. Haven't seen one. There's been a couple that have been offered up for the job, but I've declined them based on various parameters. So nothing that I can actually consider fixing has turned up. Yeah, this board looks quite pristine. I think this is definitely going to be a case of take this business out and it'll be okay. And like I said, oddly, I'm actually happy about that. Don't know what date's on the battery, but probably couldn't hurt to replace it. Maybe the last of them have died. Somehow I don't think so. I do like the 1398 quite a lot. I think it's a nice machine, it's a good size, it's powerful. It's not exactly what I'd call a portable laptop, at least based on modern expectations. It is a little bit of a clunker, but it's a good machine, and that retina screen is just beautiful. Beautiful right up until the moment until you break it, and then it's, well, then it's like the first time you get your heart dumped by that hot person that you're after for so many years. You did everything right to get their attention. You had a beautiful couple of days or weeks of relationship, and then one day you talk to them and you go to hug them and you find that the hug just doesn't seem to reciprocate well. Things go cold. The SMSs don't come back as quick. The smileys disappear. You know something's happening, but you can't get them to admit it. And you keep telling yourself, I'm only just going crazy, it's okay, nothing wrong, it's just me. But then one day, you get the message, I think we should talk. And you're like, yeah, it's over. Yeah. Change the subject. What subject? Wonder what was causing the clicking now is clicking sound since there's no spinning rods. Yeah, believe it probably could have been the fan maybe, or sometimes inductors can do it. But honestly, I've got pretty much nothing to go on here that would cause that noise. But like I said, we've got to fix up that. Hey Pionov, haptic thingo. Is there a haptic thingo in these ones? These ones are a little bit trickier to get into. Okay, that's nice. I don't put a lot of alcohol on it. It's just enough to sort of like slip it in easier, but not enough to get things soaked so that, it doesn't go through to the screen or anything like that. I'd say given the amount of liquid damage that we're seeing up at the trackpad, it probably would be a prudent move to replace the battery anyway. Yeah, Barrett's getting some good use. Just when you do use it, make sure you put your tongue out to the side properly. If you don't, it's not going to work properly, or grimace a bit. You got to make sure you really show the battery that you're serious about getting it out. You don't want no shenanigans coming from it. No siree. Okay, should I get this? Yeah, that's a. Ugh. God help me if any of that flicked back into my mouth. Just thinking about it makes me think I had felt something. Gotta love how the brain does that to you. So, seriously, brain, that is not a smart joke. Making me think that a particle from there just flew back and into my mouth. Sick brain. Why does your brain even do that, you know? Now, let me think of the very worst thing possible, and let me make you start actually feeling like it really happened. It's not fun. Technically, this battery can be reinstalled. We haven't done any damage to the cells. I mean, yeah, sure, all the adhesives are complete wreck, but the cells themselves, I'll try to say that in a hurry, haven't been folded up or anything like that, so it is entirely reusable. Trying to look for a date. Why no date? Yep, okay. Well, guess who used up their last 1582 last night? Yeah, me. Did order more today, but I don't have one now. Teresa, oh, I'm sorry. You know it has to happen. Yeah, Danny, that's right. It's just a prank, man. It was funny. Come on, laugh. It's like there was no laughing matter. I hate getting that off. What do we want? T3, T4. Let's see what T3's got to say about it. T3 says, I'll take the job. Have you ever soldered wafer scale chips? No, I haven't. No. That's pretty crazy stuff. Oh, the Mr. Osis. Is Jim here? Hey, Jim's here. Hello, Jim. Oh, wait. What? This one just came... What? Okay, maybe clearly I'm remembering incorrectly. But from memory, these plates were traditionally... They, like, had a fairly large amount of adhesive, but then maybe that's the 2013 ones. This being a 2015... They actually decided to be nice about it. I do have a replacement for this. What I do not have, however, is a new set of adhesive pads for the battery. Wonder if I can actually... Mr. West, thank you very much. Workshop upgrades or whatever. Well, no entertainment, but workshop upgrades, and by virtue of the fact of a house purchase, this one. We were looking at sheds today, something that, you know, we can turn into a very nice workshop. Probably looking at about 25,000 for something like that. A good one, after it's insulated, installed, concrete, you know, everything. There's more screws, blimey heck. And there's more on top, but are they part of the... Okay, that's fine. So that's a goner. Hope that keyboard's okay. I guess we'll put it back together, boot it up, we'll test the keyboard. We won't bother putting the battery in just yet. I do know I have that trackpad here somewhere. There we go. You have a SanDisk drive that's shorted PMIC in wafer scale. Sounds like you got some... why is there cracks in it? No, it's just nasty. That is a very scary screen. Beautiful. Hey Matthew Fox, fully locked down in Dublin again. What happened? People get silly. Spend too much time drinking Guinness. You guys must get sick of everybody just assuming that everybody in Ireland drinks Guinness. Probably a bit like people always think Australians drink Fosters, which we don't. Or we ride kangaroos, which we don't. Or that we have a romantic interest in sheep, which we don't. But the New Zealanders do. Just kidding. I love New Zealand. Hey Mr. Stamps, how are you? A Cooper's man. Okay. I know the brand. Never tried it myself. Cabbages all having house parties and spreading COVID. Oh, lovely. I think that's where COVID is smart as a virus, in that it knows to take its time before letting you know that you've got it. And that enables it to spread so well. Whereas if you get something like Ebola, Ebola's like, yeehaw, I'm taking this human down, and it's like, bam, 24 hours you're dead. It doesn't give it enough time to spread around, so, yeah, Ebola's a little bit poor in its planning department there. But COVID got it smart. Hey, Rustlin. No, we don't ride kangaroos. Sorry, buddy. I know you know we don't. Makes for good humour, though. Alright, looks like we're going to have to get the old razor out. Reminds me, I had someone asking me today if I fixed Razer laptops, and I said no. Nobody wants to fix Razer laptops. Luke, I'm not happy with the way they're done either. I would prefer it if they had a proper plastic housing, something structurally... I mean, really, why couldn't they just place them into some sort of plastic housing that you just bolt in? Was it that hard, Apple? Really? Was it that hard? I can kind of understand for the iPhones, but come on, for the Mac, there's heaps of room in here. It's not really a weight penalty that's a concern. Drop 50 milliamp hour or something out of the pack and compensate for... Yeah, it's... I think they just did it to be jerks. Like I said, marketing department, or accounting department rather. Andrew, I do have a Razer corpse in this house. I don't know where it is, but I do know that there is one. And it arrived, and I vowed never to touch it. I don't want to. I've seen the horror stories. I'm playing it smart and avoiding it completely. There are other people who are willing to take it on, but not me. Just like there's people who are willing to live in the parents' basement, but that's not me. Cam, I found that I prefer not using IPA. I found with IPA it gets too mushy and I'm not happy with the result, whereas without IPA all it takes for me is just getting the angle right like that and it comes up just nice. Personal preferences and all that jazz. And then when I can, I do try to just let it come up on its own like that. Hello Danielle, I do not understand that language. I'm sorry. I'm only monolingual. I'm just a puny middle-aged white male in a Western country who assumes everybody is going to speak English for him. Wait, what? Ah, right. Wow, me much dumb. There we go. Would it be possible to clean the LCD on this MacBook Pro? It could be possible, but I'm not touching it. When it comes to things like that, you can tell the person about it, you can give them like well, not instructions, but you can tell them where they can find out about how to clean it. Do not do it. Just do not do it. Because chances are you will botch something up and then you have to pay the $500 or $600 for a new retina screen. And you do not want to do that. Yeah, Stan, going through a bit of a phase of it, I think. Now people are probably wondering, why the heck hasn't he cleaned this crap off here? Well, it's because as a freestanding thin metal plate, it's got edges here. And if I try to push the scraper against those edges, it's just going to fold up like that, and I'm not going to be able to get anything off. But if I reinstall it, it mostly flattens it out, and I'll have a chance of getting the adhesive off. So I may just quote this one on a replacement battery. Given the age of it, it's probably due for a replacement regardless. So sort of a little bit of added expense now, but saves in the long run. Okay, it's done. I do need to find probably a half-inch wide blade version of this sort of thing. I used to have stuff like that for my model aircraft, but I don't have it now. So this gives me the heebie-jeebies, this blade holder thingy. It's not what I would consider to be sufficiently sturdy. Anyone who handles sharp tools for a living knows that when you have something that's not sufficiently sturdy or instilling confidence, it can be very dangerous. I'm sure that what's that guy, that Canadian guy that has his own language, AVE. I'm sure he would have some home created words to describe what I'm talking about. Now, if I warm up the glue, it's not going to do much better. It's not. I'm actually just trying to avoid scraping. Damn it! It's a planar issue, not a adhesion issue. So, like, see, it just scrapes that surface off. And this stuff does tend to prefer or hold better if you keep it cool. Remember, it is about 35 degrees here, 35 centigrade here, so it's warm compared to most of you people. Bunch of cold-blooded vampires, the lot of you. Whenever I smash my fingers, I too have different language. Hell yeah, Barry. Quite true about that. Yeah, this thing's just a little bit too wide for these sort of scenarios. This is where you really want a 1/4-inch blade. But, or 10 mil. 10 mil will be just fine. And it would allow me to get started on this. It's like I just need to get the adhesive and the backing to come up as one item, which is why I don't want to use IPA, because if you use alcohol, to get this stuff up, it causes the backing to separate away and you can't grab it up. As it is, I can't grab it up anyway, but just explaining why I'm doing things the way I'm doing it. I may have to go down to one of the local hobby stores or something and get myself a 10-inch blade tomorrow. 10-inch blade, yeah. That would be a Dave Jones mail opening blade in that case. 10mm blade. Here we go. Yeah, Matthew, it'd be a little bit oversized, wouldn't it? Like I said, it doesn't help that this plate is not flat. There we go. That's good enough. It's all just a slight bit of residue left on there now. The actual foam-like plastic has been removed. Right. This obviously is trash, along with that. Sacto chisel blade, number 10, I think. Oh, okay, I might actually have one of those. Is that... No. I thought I had a bunch of hobbyist blades in a little box, but I think I threw them out because they were pretty cheap and nasty junk. Sort of thing where you destroy your own work trying to make them work for you. Okay. Feels very strange to put this back in without the speakers. That's why it's feeling strange. We're not going to screw those in. We'll wait until we do get the battery, but I do just want them to sit in for the moment. Make sure we plug the keyboard in. Makes a difference apparently. Who would have thought? You can go first. Come on. Good job. Okay. This is a 00184 cable. I'm pretty sure I've got one or two of those. How did I manage to interleave that? Okay, 184 cable. It'll be nice having the new workshop and just being able to have like cables in a separate box, or even just simply as far as only having one particular model of items in one box, like everything that's 1466, 2013 onwards, that sort of stuff. Okay, 184 cable. Rather than fishing through a box, the same box for every part, every time. Come on. Now the worst thing about these cables is the fact that to fit them properly you kind of have to kink the ends and everything, and I really do not understand that process from Apple's perspective. Why is there a black mark? Oh, you gotta be kidding me! This is not new, this is a frickin' heck. The worst thing is now that this has been sitting... Oh, that is trash! This has been sitting in my parts bin for 6 months, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to get warranty on that. It's not even funny, that's trash. Oh, bloody hell. Yeah. New my butt. Yeah, that was sold to me as new. Flip. Okay, I do not even have another 2015. The trouble is that was, like I said, 6 months ago, so my window of opportunity to return that has long since passed. Maybe I should return to them the one that we just pulled out of this. And they'll say, well, sorry, we're not warranting that. And I'll be like, yeah, no kidding. Oh, that really gets the willies in me. No, you're not 2015 either. I do not have another 2015. I've got 13, 14, but not 15. Yeah, head tech, I've noticed it myself. The quality level has just gone to the crapper. I mean, yeah. Can I repair that? Maybe. Should I have to repair it? Hell no. Oh, look at it. It's even got... Nah, that's just got filth everywhere. That's what the actual pin looks like. The capture pins seem okay. Might work for us to test, but... Yeah. I gotta admit, I'm just gonna send this back. What a mongrel of a thing. I mean, I understand the shop can't test everything. I mean, that's unrealistic. But I guess what's gone wrong here is the fact that I didn't check it because I made the assumption that my parts would be at least reasonable quality. Certainly I'm seeing a lot of MagSafes come in looking like this. I didn't think about the trackpads. Yeah, this is just a case of it was a liquid damage pool. Yeah, head tech, it's very frustrating. It's a complete waste of time too. And like I said, I mean, fine. If this was as I received it and I checked it and I just said to them, look, hey, this is a dodgy one, I know that they would just return a refund, but I said, the only way I could possibly get out of this, and I feel bad for even thinking about this, but I could purchase another one, since I've got to purchase another one anyway, and then return this one as a refund on that purchase. So basically sort of swap it around. I mean, it's from the same supplier. I'm not technically doing anything wrong, I'm just kind of creating a new warranty for myself. But I do worry, it's like, am I going to get anything better? That's the other problem. Was this Andrew? Did you say so? Happens to you, pal, off? Really? Ah. At least, hopefully you have the time to check these things. I mean, I know you're busy with your thesis and whatever you're doing. Dissertation. Or have you finished your dissertation now? Yeah, see how this goes. Touch bars, you can replace the touch bars, I just don't know how they go in terms of the identifications and things like that. I've tried replacing a touch bar, but the machine itself was cactus, so I never knew for sure whether, what was at fault. Trying to think what it was. Oh, it was one of those ones where it comes up and says you need to do the security update, and you just get stuck in a loop and you can't get out of it. They are a very undesirable repair outcome. Particularly if you have just spent quite a lot of time repairing a lot of liquid damage on the machine, and you finally get into the point where you can power it up and test it, and then after all your hard work, it comes up and says, sorry, there's a security update you have to do, and we can't proceed without doing that. And it's like, ugh. Oh, this is... Okay, so we're going to test the state of this keyboard. The logical operational state as opposed to the state of it here. The issue is I don't have the time when I need to. Got parts sitting on the shelf for a while before I get to the repair. Oh, okay. Alright. Warranty starts when I open the packet. See, I like that idea, Matthew Fox. I mean, that can be abused. Yeah, you can get people who, will say to you, oh, no, I only just opened that up, buddy. And you know that just from the marks on it that they've been using it for 6 months, hard use, and they just decide, no, I genuinely just opened it. Kind of like iPhone repairs sometimes. People say, I know you fixed this 6 months ago, but I only just started using it yesterday. I just peeled the plastic off. And you look at the glass, and the glass is like covered in scratches and wear marks and things like that. And you're like, no, you didn't. I used to get a few people trying hard to scam the hell out of me. I had one and they swapped the screens on the phone. So they got me to replace the screen on the phone, took it back, and then they took their buddy's smash screen and put it on top. Swapped it out again, and then said, hey, look, this just broke. Nightstand damage. And fortunately for me, I mark the back of my screens when I put them in to the phone. And there was no mark on there other than the great big nightstand footprint on it. You gotta watch out for those nightstands. They're dangerous things that smash a hell of a lot of gear, silently, deadly, stealthy. Just when you thought it was safe to go to sleep. Keyboard works, so you can see that nothing's still remaining in blue, so that means everything is working. Definitely one of the more useful pieces of software I've written in a while. you know, people said to me, "Why do you need a keyboard tester? Just use the Mac one." I'm like, or just use Notepad. And it's like, no, I like to be able to just swish all the keys and then, you know, see what's remaining. Anyway, so that's good. Michael, Kiram, thank you. Yeah. Thank you for the $5. Appreciate it. Let's. I mean, the trackpad does seem to be working. Whoa, that was a bit juddery. That dude looks a little funny. He didn't look like a trustworthy type. Okay, microphone works. Yeah, Matthew, you got to mark everything. You know they're going to try and scam you. The time you don't mark it, that'll be the time that someone decides they're going to pull the scam on you. Because the universe is just a real sick little so-and-so. Remind me tomorrow, not now, thanks. Hey, Richard Moore, how's it going? What? No, you haven't done anything wrong. I must apologize. I do need to reply back to your email. I've been dealing with kittens and people, and so it's nothing at all about you. And congratulations, by the way, on your job. I have been meaning to reply back, but yeah, between passing out on my desk, falling asleep, and getting these jobs done, this is running really slow. Because there's no battery in it, that's why. So no, you've done nothing wrong, Richard Moore. I'm the one that hasn't had a chance to get back to you. Do not take it personally at all. I keep meaning to message you, and then something comes up, and then something comes up, and then something comes up. Like this morning I woke up late, 2 hours late, to take the car in for a service. And I had to race down there, and I was completely disorganized in my fashion. Oh wait, that's just how I am normally. And I completely forgot to tell the service station, the garage, why I was bringing it into them in the first place. So they just did a general service, which they're meant to do. And I forgot to tell them about the starter problem I have. And so now I've got to take it back at another date and get them to fix the starter problem. Yeah, Richard, look, I'm sorry. It's just that things have really pressed for time here. And like I said, it's nothing you've done. I haven't been able to reply back to almost anybody lately. But yeah, I did read your emails, and I even got the reply to clicked. And now it's in the, what do you call it, the draft mode. What is your daily routine? What? Oh, I don't have a daily routine. That's half the problem. It gets frustrating though when you get to that point where you start to, say like in Richard Moore's case here, you start to reply to an email and you just, yeah, another event occurs, and yeah, before you know it, 2 or 3 days have gone past, and then the people whom you do normally talk to and respond to, they're not getting the responses they would normally anticipate, and you've forgotten about it. So it's not this workload that is creating the problems, it's everything that's happening outside of work that is just piling on. So yeah, I'm thankful that things are at least as they are. I mean, everybody can have their life so much worse, particularly, I shouldn't say everybody, but at least it's just a case of a lot of interruptions, a lot of external things going on, as opposed to, yeah, for some people it's medical issues, some really dire stuff. So I'm thankful I don't have to deal with that. But at the end of the day, it's also difficult because I sort of crash out about 3 o'clock in the morning and I just pass out. Um, and then as soon as I wake up in the morning, it's like run straight away. There's no, you don't have that nice, idealistic wake up at 7:30, stretch, take a casual stroll around the garden while you wait for your coffee to brew, enjoy a nice quiet breakfast, and then go, I better go to work, fold up your paper or your iPad. That doesn't exist. No, instead it's like the alarm goes off, I race out, try to find a pair of socks that match if I'm lucky. Remember, if I'm lucky, to do micros insulin. That is the one thing that I don't forget, at least, is I always make sure I get micros insulin, because if he doesn't have that, that is a dangerous thing. But everything else, good luck living that standard idyllic life. All right, Richard, I'll respond back. Now I'm trying to think what I'm doing here. Trackpad is functional, so I'll think about that. I will suggest that we get a new battery anyway because of the age. And I think we'll go to the next computer. So this one I'll have to put in the job queue. That needs a recommended new battery, just simply due to age. May as well do it now rather than later, because later is only going to be a couple of months away. And I am out of slots. Damn, that's not good. Okay, let's see, steal someone else's slot. Let's stack a couple of 1534s on top of each other. They're all dead anyway. No such thing as a living 1534 anymore. What have we got? Liquid damage 1466. Let's do this. Do, do, do. Uh, 1534 barely even earns the right to be a piece of sculpture. Nasty piece of work, that machine. Oh, I just realised I forgot to send someone's phone off today too. Blast. That's the other trouble when you're working in a bit of a mishmash situation where things, your workshops aren't set up properly, your mailing room, your administration room aren't really where you want. That you tend to lose track of things that you really shouldn't. Like I muttered just before, there was a phone that I was supposed to send back to someone. It's a dead phone. I can't fix it. It's got 39% file system failure. iPhone 12, iPhone 11 Pro. And so it's not urgent, and it is packed. But because it wasn't in the right location when I went out to the postal run today, then it didn't get picked up. So it means it won't get out until tomorrow. And that's frustrating, because if there's one thing I really hate is when I order things and the company doesn't send it out on the day that I'm expecting. Okay. This better not be Alzheimer's, no. Alright, this is another 165. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay, I have not seen this before. I don't know if this is going to be repairable, in all honesty. We'll have a look. What the flippity-dippity-do happened there? I mean, what? That is a serious short. And a long-going serious short. Wow. Yeah, that's right. Squeaky, squeaky. I don't even know how I managed to... I wonder what rail that took out. Well, that is a nasty. Microwave board. You could be right. No, wrong place for the microwaving effect. But, okay, so liquid got on there, and it must have got into the end connect. Oh, that's just... I'm sorry, I'm just a little bit, how could you say, blown away by that. Yeah, let's have a look at the underside. Yeah, so the liquid came in here. We might be lucky. It might have just taken it out there, so there's a chance if we remove and replace that connector, it might actually work. It's not the Wi-Fi card, it's the Wi-Fi connector that's damaged in this case. So that's, you know, knocking it up a notch for me. I wonder where Pernov is. Okay, so we do have liquid damage marker off on there. What does that relate to over here? Yeah, Matthew, quite right you are. Okay, so this one definitely is liquid damaged. Quite likely has taken a few layers, yes. Okay, this is definitely not job 138, job 336 now. That's damaged, so that's off the book. DC inboard's damaged. Crikey. This one is the complete opposite of the previous one that we had. The previous 1466. That cable actually doesn't look too bad. Trackpad's got junk on it. This may be a case of mainboard replacement is the only viable option, but we'll have a look at it. But certainly DCN's... Okay, somebody has tried to... That screw's loose. That's the cheese head. That one's a bit loose too. It could have just rattled loose. That is one possibility. The machine has seen some rattles as the corners of the battery are cracked. Is the screen okay? Screen seems to be intact. Scotch card the dots. Yeah, no dots, no blame. Kind of fearful of what I might find underneath on the underside of this board. Then again, it might be perfectly pristine. It could be just only the Chernobyl Wi-Fi connector that's a problem. Sorry, Travis, what was that? Are you repeating what Richard said, or did I miss something? Oh, yeah. Thanks, Travis. can be very easy to miss conversations. It's nothing personal to anyone. It's just the way it goes. I don't know how people like Lewis Rossman handle like 1,000+ people in his chat. And you know, a lot of those people are extremely active in trying to get his attention. And he makes a point of trying to answer everybody when he can, or he used to. I don't know how he gets work done and participates to the level he does. Okay, there is corrosion on the back of this, I've seen it. Wow, you actually just ripped clean off. Wow, well, that is stuck really hard to the heatsink. They didn't just Tessa tape that, they super glued it. That goes in the bin. Fortunately, I've got quite a number of those heat sinks available, so it's not a problem at all. So we've got liquid damage up here by our all-sys power grid, so that will stop it from coming up. The SMC area's got liquid damage. I can just see the fuzzy blueness. Yeah, 1,000 people. It's crazy. Like I said, and he manages to do it and repair boards. So it's like he's got two very separate brain halves. One half does the repair, the other half does the entertaining. Okay, that. Oh, wow. Wow. The Wi-Fi module is dead, as is the connector, of course. That's completely trashed. No two ways about it. Oof. Now the hard bit here is the fact that this connector is not just sitting on the surface, it does go through to the other side of the board. So in order to remove it, you basically have to heat it up to the point where everything else is going to float, including perhaps this Thunderbolt chip. But I mean, the machine is cactus anyway, if we don't. That's not too bad for the SMC area. Ooh, the BIOS chip kind of looked like it started to get a bit of something going on there. That's a classic. That always happens because they put that piece of plastic goop on the wrong area. In the newer builds, they actually cover that whole thing up now. It keeps happening too often. So they finally did learn their lesson. Backlight ball's okay. I'm a little worried as to if the traces are going to pull up. I mean, the amount of energy required, you know, it would have, the resistance in the, oh crikey heck. Well, this does present an alternate way we can actually get this off, and that is to break it apart. It's not personally what I like to do. In fact, I probably won't. I think what I'll do is I'll pickle it and then try and lift it. And if it doesn't work, then there's not much point. We either try to do this first before we do any of this. There's no point doing any of this until we try this, because this is really going to be our pass or failure point of the repair. I don't need to use low melt, I just use standard leaded, standard leaded is low melt anyway, compared to lead free. Yeah, the damage is quite extensive. I might just improve the brightness here a little bit. It's a little on the dark side. I mean, we do like the dark side. Not like the stupid rebel scum. we go. I'll have to pickle the mount points from the underside as well. That's what these 3 marks are. I don't know if that is the correct term. I've always just used it though. The idea of pickling the... Sometimes you just come up with your own terminology. 3v3S4, likely so, yeah. Hey Greg. What caused this was actually the liquid damage getting on the connector from the top, and then it wicked into the pins, and then due to that wicking, that's where the short happened. There really isn't a lot of point in trying to, what am I trying to say, wick out these. You just want to cook them up, get that leaded solder through, and at least they will provide a bit of heat transfer or heat holding when you're trying to get one side up next to the other. We'll just do the same here. Let's give it some assistive heat. Okay, that's good. And this is all just prep for when we do put the hot air on it and get it to come up. Don't steal it, you little... This is only 250 at the moment. So you don't need a lot of assistive heat. The other way around is, of course, you could preheat the whole board, stick it on the oven or the board heater or, iPad screen thingamajig. That's good. Okay, now we start the fun part. Try and decide on my weapon of choice here. That might work. Because the next thing that comes to mind is, how am I going to get a donor? I didn't think that far ahead. No, I'm going to have to use something a little... Okay, I need more extraction. Yeah, the donor will have to be an opposite side extraction, but still not going to be easy. It is amazing that those traces still exist, given the amount of current that would have been required to melt those, melt that plastic. I am genuinely surprised that these traces are intact. Yeah, especially when I'm being a moron like that. Very surprised. There we go. I've got the fan extractor on maximum at the moment simply because it's generating a lot of fumes. To be expected. Yeah, solder sucker does work. The downside of the solder sucker, particularly like the mechanical plunge type ones, is that the kick has a bad habit of lifting pads on these boards. There we go. Oh, almost got it. You can see the moment when the assistive hot air makes the wick pull it all out. There it goes. I'm genuinely surprised. Have a look at the board view and the schematic and see what shows up for that connector. Alright, so that's this one here. So 3v3 WAN, I can't imagine that would be enough to... 3v3 S4 is the... So yeah, that's that one there, the very end one. There's a tough connector. That's that pin there. So basically what was happening is that was shorting through to the ground. It was a very short distance, literally. And yeah, impressive. Destructive, but impressive. Yeah, hectic. I wonder why. Probably because it's not open board view. But yes, you know that. I think he knows Arnold. I suspect he may have been sarcastic, facetious. I'm not. Oh, I'm never sure which one I want to use. There's definitely a lot of heft in that because I can't even get it to melt properly. Yeah, it just gets stuck on that connector, so there's an abnormally large amount of ground plane in that. Oh no, we have bent it slightly. That's not good. You're probably thinking, why the hell is he putting more on when he wanted to try to take it off? I was trying to see if it was maybe some leaded solder preventing that. There's no way that that connector should need that sort of power. Okay, I think what the problem there is, that lump there is not solder, it's actually something else. Just cleaning out those ports a bit. You can't see this, but I'm not moving the microscope for it. Okay. So yeah, it's not solder that I can't melt, it's just metal of some sort. Some sort of welded mass. Alright. So, that's that bit. I guess now we try and get ourselves a connector from another board. Fun and games. You know what I should do is actually check to see that that is not shorted to ground. It'd be kind of pointless. Should have done that right at the start. But hey, you can't think of everything. No, no short. So what is the actual resistance? $28K, that's pretty good. Well, I don't think the card itself was even shorted. I think that liquid that came in is what created the short, so it was probably like Coke or something like that, and the Coke dried up probably. It created, there's a lot of sugar in it, so it wouldn't have taken long, and it could have created a bit of a carbon trace, and then the carbon trace basically, well, it went wild after that. Nice job. And yeah, it all happened in the connector itself. Okie doke. Oops. This one looks reasonable. Likewise, we will pickle these. Pernov, by the way, I'm going to do a video on Lewis's stream, putting up that bounty for the Allegro binary format. I'm not sure when exactly I'm going to do it, but yeah, we'll do it, and I'll put up the $1,000 for it. And hopefully Pernov will actually get someone who will take a bite and finally allow us to decode that damn format. Yeah, I do worry about the legalities as well, Pernov. That said, we already do kind of skirt the legalities a lot. You know what I mean. It's not ideal, but yeah, I'll basically just try and word it in such a way that we're just looking for a way to decode it. I don't know. Maybe being in Australia, I might be a little bit insulated. Certainly I'm not insulated from Apple in Australia. They can knock on my door any old time, unfortunately. Okay, this is going to be difficult, because I really need to heat from the underside. I wonder if I can heat from this side. I might try the vertical system, because if I bring it over to the edge of the bench, the fume extractor just doesn't work at that distance, obviously. So, see if we can set you up there. I mean, it's already going to be hard enough getting over the battery pack that I just put there. What else am I going to use? Oh, that's fair enough, Pernov. I'll just, what I'm actually asking for is if anyone has a specification for it. So it'll be interesting to see where that falls. Thank you, Richard, for the Dakota bidding indeed. It is legal grey area, but I think a lot of what we do already is slightly legal, particularly with the board views and things like that. I mean, yeah, man, we don't distribute it ourselves, obviously. Jan, 1,000 US. Not much difference between that and the Australian dollar right now. But yeah, 1,000 US. And I'm paying that. I got no problem with it. I like to see these formats decoded. hopefully we had success there. Yeah, Richard, hopefully. Hopefully. I mean, obviously there's going to be a bit of solder still attached. There's a little bit of deforming on that, but that's not a problem. That one's intact, amazingly. I was fully expecting these to be molten mushrooms. But that looks like a working connector to me. Just give it a bit of a clean up. Get the excess solder off. Leaking the confidential spec wouldn't help anyone, no. But I'd be curious to see, maybe something will come up. Maybe someone will say, no, I don't know. We're certainly not getting anywhere with the things at the moment. The other way I can simply say is, if someone could write or implement a decoder, but I don't know if just because you don't know how they obtain the information, I don't know if that provides any sort of indemnity to you. You know, is it kind of like the whole receiving stolen goods type thing? In theory, if someone with knowledge of the spec actually writes a clean spec from the ground up, could be okay-ish. Maybe only that guy would get in trouble. Yeah, it'll be curious how you test it. I think, see you, Matthew. I think what I can do is I will provide a file that I know what it looks like, and sure they could do things like cut paste and whatever, but yeah, I'm sure there'll be a way we can escrow our way through to proof and payment. And most of the time, if people are doing this sort of thing, they probably wouldn't have a problem with providing proof as it is. Funnily enough, they'll probably have to write an open board view implementation to prove it. But then you have to decide whether you want to include that. Ah, Mr. Rob Brown's here. Hello. All the Allegro decoders I've seen so far require Allegro to be installed. Apparently it at least checks that. I might actually make some calls to Allegro. Welcome, Rob. Good to see you, by the way. You're much sticky. All my alcohol is now spilling on the floor. Oh, my alcohol. Pick yourself up. Stagger you home. Well, if you can find an intermediate format trends, kind of like we do with BV to BVR. It's not overly practical though. Maybe we can mount it onto a website. So like if we have a web page running and it does the decoding. I really want to clean this connector off, but there's probably not a lot of point doing that. I should just stick it in. Oh, Yoshi, I see you now, but I didn't see you before. I can't say hello to everyone. It's very hard to see everybody when I'm working. But when I do see people, I do say hi. Sorry, I'm umming and erring because I'm trying to make sure I get the right sort of orientation on the fit here. Yeah. The pins have risen up slightly, so I think I will tack it in like that and then drive the pins down a little bit. Did you ever port BV to BVR platforms other than Linux? The MDB tools is too much of a mess, unfortunately. I mean, really though, you could do it just using SQL. Like, all you're doing is just a select star from each table and that's it. I always thought it was quite interesting how the BV format was nothing but a Microsoft database. I was like, well, isn't that something? Yeah, these aren't pretty right now. Not meant to be. Damn it. If you look at the normal Wi-Fi connector, you'll see that it does have large fillets under the pins. I don't know if that's intentional or not. Or it's just the... okay, someone's just messaged me. Ah. This is an important message, I must respond to it. Do you need my help to come and collect them? Question mark. Yeah, I'm not worrying about being perfect right now. Okay, full stop. I am on a live stream if you want to also let me know. Full stop. Yeah, dead body collections. It can be very difficult to move dead bodies. They don't really help you much. They literally are a dead weight. JP, well, we're repairing MacBook stuff. Very damaged MacBook circuit board. And right now we're probably halfway through the process. I'm just going to do some cleanup work here. Switch back down to 250. I don't want full reballing temperatures going on here. And we're just going to have to try and even these up. Let's try to grab some of that excess solder and draw it in away from the connector. Yeah, this is going to be fun. More flux. I find it interesting that in the world of forge welding or forging or blacksmithing, that borax is their flux. It's quite interesting to see them just empty out packets of borax onto their work to get the stuff to stick together. Make sure I don't touch that connector too much. I just did a little bit of a dingle there. I may actually have to use wick to clean this one up. At least with the connector this size, you know, wick is actually a viable type option. You can't really do it on things like the LVDDS connector. It's just, it will always drain far more than it's supposed to. Yeah, so that worked. Yeah, there's always got to be one. It's looking good. Some of the pins just need to be heated up a bit more and get that solder to wick back further into the connector. I'm pretty happy with that. Alrighty, toothbrush time. And a little bit of a pad there to collect all the junk. Better to get all that excess flux off now while it's hot. Get it while it's hot, boys. Those back ones actually could be cleaned up a bit better. See how they're all... The one on the right's okay, but these two, as they believe in America, you call them Hershey Kisses or something. Anyway, you don't want a Hershey Kiss looking blob of solder. This is only 250 I'm using. Just get rid of the excess. If you remember, the original didn't have all that much solder on it. It was barely... It was pretty much slightly under flush, retracted from the connector. That looks better. Yeah, I think we can agree that's pretty good. Was that connector wasn't flush? No, they're all generally like that. See, it is sitting flush there. So here's another one. See? They're all slightly recessed solder. So what happens is there's probably enough solder it does actually sit flat when it's molten, and then due to the solder shrinking slightly, it gets drawn back in, and of course up the legs as well. It's certainly pretty tolerable as far as connectors go. Let's see. See if it plugs in. Yeah, that's a janky, nasty looking connector. Clean it up. I want to go ruin our pristine connector with some nastiness. And there you go. Fits nicely. Now we've got to fix everything else to see if it even works. Right. Okay, so we're just pretty much just got to clean up that area. And that area, that's the clock. Ew, it's actually not a great looking spot there. And the SMC, we'll start the SMC. And at this point, change my soldering iron back to the micro pencil. Again, this is just 250. Actually, I might crank it up straight up to normal. That there is probably going to need fixing. Yep. Hey Permbist, you better not be here to promote your own channel. We're watching you. That's good. A couple of nice pads came up there. We'll just clean up these ones while we're at it. Got a replacement part. Let's see, which part are you? Okay, you're just down below the stop start. think I'm going to have to replace that clock chip. Certainly I want to have a look at the pads on the underside of it. It's an important enough area that it's worth checking. Particularly if this 3v3 section here on that cap, because that goes off to your PCH and, well, a lot of bad things can happen. Yeah, we've got some corrosion there. Yippity yip. And it doesn't want to... Ah, damn it. That was not intentional. That was just incompetent. Too much brightness there, unfortunately. Okay, pad's good again. I'll go through and puff up the rest. Richard, I bought a cheap $12 HDMI capture card, dongle. It wasn't even a card, it's a dongle. And it seems to definitely, as you have observed, produce somewhat sharper features. I guess it's the USB output of the microscope camera was being fairly compressed. Oh, ach nee man, come on. I don't want to get too much solder on that. Yeah, that's plenty. Now we just need a replacement clock chip, which pretty much is stolen from every board. Because clock chips, well, we always need them. Let's see. You might have one. Question is whether you're viable or not. Aside from all the bug wings and everything around you, you seem okay. Yeah, less compression. So I'm quite happy. I mean, for $12, you know, it's... Oh, where is it? Boom, 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 boom. Oh, come on. Oh, there you are. That's it there. Just... let's get a main. There we go. That's all it is. Simple. $12. Does a pretty good job. They do say supposedly it does 60 frames per second, but I think it's more a case of it pretends to do 60. I think once it starts encoding, it probably just goes back to 30. And it doesn't bother me. I mean, I don't have the processing power to do a proper full 60 frames per second. I can do 60 on the microscope camera supposedly does 60, but again, I think it's just sending out the same frame twice. But the Logitech cameras, the 922, that will do 60 frames per second, but only at 720. So I think it would require a major overhaul to really get up to 60 frames per second. I would like to get there one day, because I do very much enjoy the 60 frame per second look. There's something very fluid and nice about it. I would do that before I go 4K. Oh, you mongrel. This chip is actually surprisingly annoying to sit down properly. So I had to buy an adapter for the iMac for the new 4K TV as a second monitor. Alright, easy. Yeah, I've still got my 2013 behind me. I've got a 2013 as my main workstation in the other workshop. They're nice machines. Well, certainly I'm happy with them. This is another one that most boards have had that part taken from. Hey Jason. You missed all the real fun, Jason. So mine's a 2015 27 inch. Tried 2 others, didn't show the image. Is that, are they the, oh, they're the 4K ones or 5K ones? When things get settled down, I am sincerely looking at getting a pair of the 5K Max 27 inch. I mean, the quality of the screen is something that I find difficult to find anywhere else. .5K retinas, yeah. Okay, now we've got to try and create some puffy pads individually. This is like Tesla's BGA reballing method. That should do it. There we go. The one on the right there is a little short on solder, but that's okay. See, do we have it here? Wow, shocking. I actually do have one. Still some flux. It's good. Alright, while that cools down, let's have a squiz. See if we can spot any other disaster zones before we commit to putting some fresh batch of electrons in here. This all could be for naught. That short could have done a whole lot of damage that we don't know about. Could be internal damage. We just don't know. There's a pretty big ball there, buddy. That might have actually come from when we were doing this. It could have just blown over. Okay, there we go. See, important to get that sort of stuff. So what are you, 8130? That's a 3v3 sus detection, and that looks kind of sus. It's probably going to be okay. Just give it a bit of a flux and boil. Fusion kept failing, separating to... Oh yeah, I've heard about the fusion. I haven't personally had to deal with one, but I know I've seen a few other techs crying about it, causing a great deal of issues with data recoveries. Seems like it might have been a feature that really perhaps wasn't really necessary. I'm not sure. Yes, shock horror, Paul doesn't know everything about anything. Alright, another blob of solder, that will be also from the process. A bit of random fluff, why not? Fan. Chipmunk. Well, if you're religious, you can hope and pray now and see how we go. Obviously, I have not plugged in a Wi-Fi module yet. Not much point until we can at least show that it boots up. So here we go. Green light. Fan spin. Fan spin. Now we just got to wait for the blinky blinky. If we get blinky blinky, it's a good start. Come on, give me blinky blinky. No. Oh, we got a blinky blinky. For a moment then I thought we were heading for a PCH failure. We got blinky. Okay. Well, the main board may be functional. Again, still no guarantee. We've got everything else to sort out first. There's a really disgusting flux up. I'll wash down some of this flux and then I'll stick it into a chassis and see what happens. Even on my own chassis I prefer not to put too much flux in there. So we'll give it a heat up. Crash it into that. We'll just dab off the big easy blobs, which surprisingly don't come off that easy. Okay. And now we just start scrubbing it down. Obviously this is going to go in for an ultrasonic clean after all this. But what I'm doing here is for the sake of putting it through the testing chassis. Get high. If you're not really getting high on fumes, you're getting drunk. Mind you, not in this one, that's isopropylene. If I was using ethanol, yeah, I'd be getting drunk. That's just pure IPA. Certainly as close as you can get to pure, yeah, 99.98%. Okay, good enough. Chassis time. Ugh. DC inboard's damaged on this one. That is actually going to be an expense for them, because DC inboards are no longer cheap. Yeah, before a lot of people would laugh at me when I would repair them. I said, why are you repairing that? It's like, you know, $40 thing, you just toss it out and get another one. It's like, yeah. So, it's the connector that's damaged on this one more than anything else. I will not be leaving this in there. This is mine. It is marked as such too. Come on. go. Supposed to put the fan in first. That's okay. We can wiggle it underneath like that. Okay, we decided that this flex seemed to be okay. There's no guarantee that the trackpad is, but I don't have that many. Looks like I'm going to have to just order a bunch more trackpads tomorrow morning. But again, I'm facing the same old situation as with the other trackpad, is that I don't know the quality that I'm going to be getting. Seems to be a bit on the shonky side lately. We will plug in a Wi-Fi module. Let's see if we do get functionality. As in, see if we can see any networks. I don't need to plug the antenna in. I've got a router about a meter away, and it will show up. It won't be very strong signal, but it will show up. And that's all that I care about. Okay, fan spin. It's a little on the dim side, but it might be because camera is not detached or something. Underfilled ICs, yeah, it's not really a soldering issue though, is it now? It's rather just a disassembly issue. Okay, we've got our full brightness back. Chocolate, snakes are my weakness, of course, but we already know that. Okay, we do have a Wi-Fi symbol, so that's a good start. Let's see if it shows the local networks. It should be just one. Yes, there we go. That is the network that I'm expecting. Okay, that's excellent. Alright, so it's fixed. That's great. And I cannot believe it, but it's actually 12:30 in the morning. I did not know. Here I was thinking it was more like 11 o'clock at night, 11:30. Okay, overshot on that one. But we fixed it, so that's what matters. And with that, I'm going to have to close up. And maybe we'll have something tomorrow. Depends what the postman brings. I do have other machines here. One of them is one that I probably should do just off screen, because I want to try and keep my thoughts together while I do it. Jim's still with us. Thank you, Jim, for still being around here. 1:30 a.m. for you, yeah. Dear. And S is here. Alright. So I may see you tomorrow, but if I don't, I might be back the next day. I do have some physical labor to get done around here, and I do have to do my taxes at some point, sometime soon, in order for me able to get my paperwork ready for getting a bank loan for the house and things like that. So there's a lot of things that I have to get done, and we are dealing with a lot of kittens and cats and stuff like that as well. So it's a busy schedule. But if I can do a job like a 1466 where I can afford to put aside half my brain, I will do so and drop in and let you all know. So until then, you all take care. I'll see you later.